This is chapter 6 of Best Things. This is going to be about the boys and first kiss. My first actual kiss was with a boy. I have to admit that, not a girl. The girl didn't come till the 10th grade. Boy, that was sad, huh? That was back in the 60s, so I was a late bloomer to be sure, but I made up for lost time shortly after that. I wouldn't stop kissing the girls then. We got a little excited chihuahua next door, so he might be yapping a little bit, but I'm going to proceed here with chapter 6 here. My best boyfriends, say friends that were boys, Steve Land, he was about my size, and we went to church together, so he was a cool guy, very smart guy. And Skipper Turnquist was my other big buddy. He was huge, real tall guy, and Skipper and I were good friends until he moved away after the 7th grade to Pennsylvania, and later he lived in Peru, and then we rejoined each other at West Point. He was a cadet, but we really were never close again after that. I only saw him one time at West Point, and we chatted for about an hour, and that was that. We just didn't have a bond anymore. I don't know what happened, but Steve and I were good buddies, and we'd spend the night over things where we'd party and stay up late. And I didn't have that many other good male friends. I had a few other buddies and whatnot, and I was always got along with the other guys and played sports with them a lot, and I loved baseball. I was a big baseball fanatic, and football, and even basketball. As I got a little older, was able to shoot the basket. But my first experiences sexually, you might say, happened with my cousin Gene. He was a year older than me, and Gene eventually became a world wrestler. He was a professional wrestler. His name wasn't as big as some of the guys you've probably heard of. He was called the Lightning Bolt or something like that, or Greased Lightning, I forget, rolling, something like that. But he was okay. He was usually the good guy that got beat by the bad guy, so he was the sacrificial lamb. But Gene and I, we'd spend the night sleeping on a pallet with my other brothers and cousins, and Gene and I would be in a different room usually, and he one night was pitching the idea of me to fooling around a little bit, and I didn't know what he meant. And he said, we'll do like the grown-ups do. We'll pretend to be kissing and stuff. I said, what does that mean? So he starts kissing me. And I said, oh, this is what it is. We're just pretending, because we're both boys. We knew boys are supposed to kiss girls. But it felt good. And so we practiced kissing for a while. And then he said, why don't we play a game? I said, what? He said, we'll call it Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. I'll be Roy Rogers and you be Dale Evans. I said, okay. So I'm the girl, and I'm on the bottom, and he's on top rubbing on me, kissing, and he gets a boner, and he starts rubbing against me, and it feels good. And I get a woody, and I start feeling good, and eventually, ooh, I climax, and I thought, I like that, it felt good. Is that what grown-ups do? He said, yeah, I think so. So we did that a few times whenever we got together, but not that often, just a couple of times. But then fast forward to my teen years. I'm about 14 now, in junior high. And I mentioned before in the previous video, I had not kissed a girl then. But there was another boy I went to church with named Lawrence Huey. And Lawrence was tiny. He was even smaller than me, real small boned, very brainy. He eventually became an architect, and he was as gay as they come, super gay. I didn't know what gay was back then, really. I mean, I kind of heard there were queers and stuff. That was what they called them back then. But, and I knew that wasn't a good thing, but I didn't know what we were doing was considered queer. But Lawrence said, why don't we do the practice kissing thing? And I said, oh yeah, I did that with my cousin when I was younger. He said, yeah, it'll be good when we get with the girls, we'll know what we're doing. And I said, yeah. He said, I'll teach you French kissing. So we start making out, and he French kisses me. And I thought, oh, this is kind of weird, but it kind of feels good. But he's a boy. I'd really rather do it with a girl. But Lawrence insisted, this was a good idea. So we did it a few times. And then one afternoon at his house, or somebody else's house, I think it was a vacant house we went into, he said, why don't you let me suck on you? I said, what do you mean? He said, I'll suck on your dick. And I said, what? He said, yeah, it'll feel good. I said, I don't know, that sounds kind of queer. He says, nah, it's not. He said, guys do it all the time. It's fun. Girls will do it for you, and you'll be good practice. And I said, well, all right, I'll try it. So he gets down on his knees, and he starts sucking on my penis, and it does feel good. And he sucks it off entirely, and it's like, wow, that was wonderful. And he says, now, you want to suck me? And I said, no, I don't think so. I'm not interested. So I never did suck him. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It seemed too queer, for lack of a better word. But nevertheless, we did that a couple of times, and of course it felt dynamite every time he did it. And I thought, man, this guy really does like sucking on my penis. So And then one night when he did it at sleeping over at my place, I just felt it was a little too weird. I thought, I don't want to go down this road, you know. I'm not like him. I like girls. I want to be with girls and do this with girls, have a girl do it someday. And so after that weekend, I told my mother that Lawrence had been kind of wanting to do some weird things with me in bed I didn't like. And my mom got it right away. I didn't have to be explicit. And so she said, don't worry, you'll never see him again. And that was the end of it. My mom remained good friends with his mother till she died. But I never saw Lawrence again. It was, in a way, kind of sad that he killed that relationship, because he was a super cool guy. He became an architect, like I said. And, I don't know what kind of life he had. I never had any contact with him after that. But that was my first kiss with a boy. And then my other experience happened at West Point some years later. And I was about 19, 18 then. And my roommate was very gay, and he still is today. And I still love him. He's a wonderful guy. But he's very gay, and I'm not. But nevertheless, we were getting high that night in the room, doing some spray inhalants called PAM. PAM is a cooking substance you spray in the cooking pan to lubricate it. And my roommate, Chuck, who was supposed to be super smart, he tells us, oh, we can get high on this stuff. We said, how? And he says, you spray it into a bag and then you breathe it, and watch me. So he does it, he demonstrates. And sure enough, he looked real weird for a while. His eyes got big, and then he came back out of it. And he said, wow, oh, that was good. So we wanted to try it, of course. So we did. We put the spray PAM in the plastic bag. I don't recommend this, by the way. I don't recommend this to anybody. Don't do this to get high. It's not a good idea, okay? It's almost as bad as sniffing glue or paint or gasoline fumes or magic markers. Not a good idea to sniff inhalants and get high. It does damage to your kidney, your spleen, your liver, your brain, your lungs. It's just bad stuff. But anyway, back to the story. We did sniff the PAM, inhale it, huffed it, and when we did, we got super high, really effed up, you might say. And so I was laying over in my bunk bed, just tripping out to some Pink Floyd Ummagumma album, and all of a sudden I felt my penis, something was happening. And it was Dana. He was going down on me right there. And I didn't object because I couldn't. I was too high. And by the time I realized what was happening, I thought, oh my God, I can't let on that I know what's going on. I better act like I'm asleep. So I tried to pretend like I was asleep, of all things. And of course, Dana never skipped a beat. He just kept going, and he sucked it dry. And wow, one of the most explosive climaxes I ever had in my life, I got to tell you. But then I just rolled over and tried to go to sleep. I did go to sleep. And the next day I told Dana, I think I know what happened last night, and I kind of don't want to do that again. I just really decided it's the end of the road with me, with doing things like that with other guys. I think I like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I'm straight. I like girls. I do know that for a fact. I like women, and I want to pursue them, not other experiences like this anymore. So Dana was very respectful. He never hit on me again, and even though he had eyes for me, he never hit on me again that way and respected me, and I appreciated that. And that's the way it went. So, those early experiences, they had a big impact on me, I gotta say, sexually speaking, as far as knowing what kind of pleasure could be obtained or attained. And I will say this, the old adage goes that a guy can give a better blowjob to a guy than a female can. And in my experience, that has definitely been true. I've had probably at least a dozen or more blowjobs from different women, and I've never had one that even approached the quality of Lawrence or Dana. That's a fact.